I'm happy to take your questions now. You can ask anything you want on any subject. Yes, ma'am.
Ann Coulter, you may have heard of her, has called the Democrats godless. And how can you go about changing that and let people know that we are also people of faith?
I think first of all, it's the great myth in America today. And what the Republicans, or at least some of the Republicans, I can't say this of everybody, but some of the Republicans have done, is they've used faith as a wedge divider, as a way to divide Americans. And faith should be the basis for bringing people together, not dividing us. And there's for example, I spoke earlier about poverty. You look in the Bible for how many references there are to taking care of the least among us, compared to how many references there are to gay issues or abortion. You take out every reference to taking care of the poor, and you don't have a lot of Bible left. And somehow that gets left behind. Let me be really clear about this. My faith is enormously important to me. I did talk about it a little bit in the debate the other night. And I was one of the co-chairs of the Senate prayer breakfast, and it plays a huge role in my life. It's one of the ways that I have been able to survive some of the personal tragedies that we've had in my life. But I will say, I don't think it's my job, either as a presidential candidate or as President of the United States, to impose my faith on the country. I'll stop there.
I'd like you, if you would, to forget the press that's here and maybe forget all the people that are here and just talk to me about honesty. How do we know that all the wonderful ideas that you have shared with us today are real?
The single most important characteristic of the next president is not a specific policy idea, but is what you just identified. Because if our president is not honest and a good human being, then the American people are not going to trust the president. That trust bond has been destroyed in the last 6 years. And not just between America and its president, but between the president of the United States and the rest of the world. And that has to change. And I think, honestly, the answer to your question is that's something you have to judge. I hope that you'll judge it for every candidate, not just me. But that should be a test. Because I'm telling you, when you listen, and you can tell, for example, I'll give you one example, just one. I laid out my health care plan. I could have just laid out my health care plan and went on and never talked about the cost, never talked about where the money's going to come from, never done any of those things. It would have been a safe thing to do politically, but it would have been dishonest. And I think I was asking California yesterday whether I think there should be windfall profit taxes on oil companies. I said, yes, I do. Do I think that at least on the table should be some taxes on people who make $200 or $300 million a year? I think those things ought to be on the table. But my point is, I think one good test for whether somebody's being honest, whether they'll be honest as president, is whether they're being honest during the campaign. And I want very badly, we're working on it right now, to run a transparent campaign where we provide all the information about everything that's happening. I think the government needs to be run in a transparent way, because what's happened is Bush and Cheney treat your government like they own it. They don't. This government does not belong to them. And what we want is somebody who will be honest with you when there are bad things happening. They'll tell you the truth about it. When they're having to make hard judgments, they'll be honest about that. Instead of just giving you political lines and political rhetoric. And if I can up the stakes on this question, I think it's even bigger than what I've just said, because the one thing I can tell you, having been around this a long time now, is every single day in the White House, the president will feel a conflict between his personal political interest and the interest of the country. Those things will be in tension with one another constantly. And we so badly need a president who will quit worrying about their own personal politics and worry about what's best for the country and willing to stand behind it. So,